The first instinct that I had after I finished watching this movie was,
that's more like it.
well, yeah, please read this upcoming disclaimer. Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which was directed by Alfonso Cuarón instead of Chris Columbus, and tells a story about Sirius Black, a supposedly loose criminal who has escaped from Azkaban prison. Before we get in, please just remember that this is my opinion. My opinion isn't the right opinion, just my opinion. Without further ado, let's get started. This movie is more emotional driven and more character connected, as well as it really explores the characters more, because the whole plot is about Sirius Black wanting to get Harry. So it could make this movie feel more personal, as well as each of these movies, and including its predecessors, does explore the character of Harry Potter. But when you have a whole movie that's dedicated to exploring Harry Potter, and you seeing the villain try to get Harry, it really makes this movie feel more emotionally driven, and it really explores and expands these characters a lot. Another thing that I loved about this movie was Alfonso Cuarón's direction of this movie. It adds a more dark tone with more great imagery and more extraordinary imagery that really are cool to look at. Even though I was fine with Chris Columbus' direction in the previous two movies, I find that they lacked the most depth or style from him. Here we really get to see Alfonso Cuarón's style of this universe, and it really creates a sense of evolution for this franchise. Like, especially in an early scene, including the night bus, the imagery there was done really well, as well as a later scene with these flowers, and then you see the Dementors coming, and the flowers just kind of rot. Whew, that's scary. And it really helps to see how the imagery in this movie can convey the emotion. Once again, the character interaction in this movie is really on point, just from some of the dialogue, also done really well. Another thing that I love about this movie is how it is more straight to the point, in that it doesn't take the most setup that could feel unnecessary or could lack the forward momentum. Here, this movie has a great sense of forward momentum throughout each scene. Right from the beginning, you get a more emotional connection to Harry, which is also introduced right at the beginning. So it could make this movie feel more cohesive in that sense, and more focused. Acting here also improves, as well as the CGI. In the Quidditch match, there's much more detail with really the stadium and the rain effects and the imagery earlier with the Dementors. Sometimes with the acting, you could tell that it could be a bit over the top and could lose a bit of that sense of realism, but overall, the acting here is better. And overall, I'll give Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban an A.
Quick soundtrack review.
Once again, John Williams created an absolutely great soundtrack that conveyed a ton of emotion. Of course, we'll give the soundtrack a 10 out of 10.